Hey there, Ramon Osa with you here, heading to the court. We're going to shoot a little video tutorial. I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you one of the biggest myths that is out there when it comes to forehand power production. And this was a myth that was introduced to me when I was 16 as an overweight kid trying to make the high school tennis team. And the coach, who meant really well and was doing the best he could, would tell us, "Osa, get that racket back on your forehand faster." And if you've heard this before, it makes perfect sense because pros used to hit their forehand with the racket going straight back and then going straight through to contact. And as a result are now teaching that, still teaching that. So there is a much better way to do this. And in this video, I'm going to reveal not only what that way is, but 3 other ways that you can add massive power to your forehand and actually not try as hard to hit them. So it'll make life a lot more fun. And with that, let's head out to the court and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so if we're going to talk about forehand power, the first thing we got to decide is how is forehand power created in the first place? And for me, it's always going to be created through how fast is the racket face moving as it gets out to contact. Assuming that, of course, we hit the ball in the center of the strings and we're not hitting the ball off the top of the frame like happens basically everywhere all over the world. So that's number one. And so that kind of in lies ask the question, what's wrong with the straight back and straight through method, right? The old school style of forehand stroke. Technically nothing as long as you've got a clean stroke and you're hitting the center of the strings, but there's a reason that the pros aren't doing that anymore, and it's because of momentum, okay? So if you look at the forehands now, we've got much more of a loop happening, okay? And that's allowing the racket face to accelerate. So if I demonstrate on the trusty eye coach here, here's our make-believe stroke, right? Without the racket, so you can see what my hands are doing. The first thing we're going to do is always start with some version of a unit turn. And what we're doing here, the reason we're doing this is we're pre-stretching the muscles in the core, in the side. And the forehand power is also going to be created through pre-stretching and releasing those muscles at the right time. Okay, so we've started with that unit turn. Our hands are in front of our body, and now we start to create a little bit of a C shape, okay, almost like a C or a figure 8. And that's really key because, as we talked about, we're going to have momentum and the drop going into the hit. So, but one of the problems with that is a lot of times people, I've seen this in lessons, they'll say, okay, Bonnie, we're going to hit these forehands and you're going to have a loop, okay? Well, I want you to use the loop on the forehand. So Bonnie says, okay, great, I can do that. So she starts the forehand, but she starts the loop too soon, and now she's just hanging out back here. The racket has lost all momentum, and she's basically still starting from 0 miles per hour, which McEnroe was doing, okay? All respect due to McEnroe, okay? But the guys are doing it differently now. So what Bonnie should be doing is she should be making sure that the racket tip is staying up long enough so that the drop goes into the hit, so that the momentum is being utilized. And I've got a bunch of videos on my channel that can help you with timing and rhythm that I'll link to down in the description if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so that's number one. That's the big dispelling of the myth and the reason we don't use the straight back and straight through method anymore. Now, the second thing you can do, and this is actually probably one of the most powerful things you can do, and also one of the simplest things you can do, is just relax the old grip, okay? I don't know about you, but when I was starting to really get a handle of this forehand thing, I'm like, man, I'm going to crank this. I would just put a death grip on the racket, you know? I was like strangling the racket. And of course, that slows down the racket head because all of that resistance is just creating all kinds of unnecessary tension in our arm, which is not allowing the racket to move freely. So just pretend like someone could just grab the racket out of your hand at all points during the backswing and the forward swing, and then you're going to use a little bit of tension just at contact to squeeze and make sure you stabilize the racket head. So that's number 2. And number 3, and maybe the most important, in fact it is the most important, is the contact point. Okay, so if I come out to the eye coach here, incidentally, a lot of people have asked about this eye coach and actually have worked out a deal with the guy who created this thing. It's an amazing device. So if you're interested, I'll link to it down in the description. You just go to theeyecoach.com. I think that's the website. I'll double check that. And use promo code RUSA and you'll get a discount. Great device. 5 minutes on this thing before you practice, you'll be amazed. Your head stays still, you get rhythm, you get timing, and all that good stuff. But so is the contact point. Sorry, I got a little bit of a detour there, okay? But the contact point. And there's a very precise moment that this happens from a physics standpoint that allows us to get the most power with the least effort. That's the 45-degree angle into the court. And if you're new to my channel and you haven't seen that, I'll link to a video that'll explain it all at the end in the end screen. So those are the 3 things that you can do that'll instantly give you more forehand power. So we want to use the loop. That's 1A, and 1B is we want to make sure that the drop is going into the hit. Okay, 2 is we want to make sure that we're staying nice and loose in our grip, just squeezing a little bit as we approach contact. And 3 is making sure that we get to that contact point, which is out at the 45-degree angle into the court. So thanks so much for watching this video. I had a great time making it for you. If you found it helpful, click the like button and let me know in the comments what videos you'd like me to cover in the future, and I'd be happy to do that in the days and weeks ahead. Also, in the meantime, if you're looking for kind of a summary and maybe like a cheat sheet of all the main pieces to the forehand puzzle, I've created the perfect forehand checklist for you. You can have that absolutely for free just by clicking the link down below, heading over to my website and grabbing it. So thanks again for watching this video. Subscribe if you like it, share it if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next video.